Welcome to another episode of the Personal PR Show. And today I'm here with Brittany. Hello, Brittany. How are you?
Oh, I'm amazing. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Getting ready for Christmas, traveling tomorrow to Italy. How about you? Where are
Ooh.
you? And what are your plans for Christmas?
So I'm on the east coast of Canada, so we are already buried under some snow. But our plans are to just stick home. Last year we went to the Dominican Republic for Christmas and we stayed at the Nickelodeon Hotel. The kids loved it. So this year we're just sticking close to home and having a nice home Christmas with family.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
spent the last Christmas here. Actually, I never spent my Christmas here. In 16 years I've been living in Switzerland, I always went back to Italy where my family is. But then the past years, of course, I was here due to COVID. And this time, like this year, is so weird to leave, not to spend Christmas with my kittens. But anyway, I got my cat sitter who flew in from London this morning to here to Zurich, Switzerland.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she's going to be with them now for 12 days. So she's here with us. Yes, exactly. So these are our plans. Now that we have talked about the plans, Brittany, for Christmas, let's get down to the conversation, to the topic today, which is the topic that you are known for. I mean, you're very famous for monetizing your organic content. What does it mean?
Okay, so I am kind of the queen of content, and that started a long time ago. And I think that, we're showing up on social media anyway, especially as entrepreneurs. Like, we're here. Who's not on social media? But you should be getting paid for that. So the way you're showing up should also have the motive of bringing in the right people to you, showing them what you're all about, showing off your personality, showing off your knowledge and your expertise, and drawing people in that want to work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is how you do it. So what are your, let's say, your techniques? Maybe 2 or 3 techniques. I'm sure you have hundreds, but what is, right? Yes. But what is important for us to be able to monetize our organic content?
Yeah, being yourself. We tend to, as soon as we become entrepreneurs, we kind of get a little bit outside of ourselves when we start showing up online, because we're like, okay, people need to pay me. So now I have to say these perfect things or do these perfect things or have these perfect pictures. And every piece of content has to be perfectly curated. And like, we can smell that from a mile away at this point. People are buying people that are human beings and that they can see themselves laughing with and hanging out with, and they vibe with their personalities paired with showcasing the knowledge. So it has to be a little bit of both. It can't be, just my personality and hopefully people like me and they just show up in my DMs being like, I don't know what you do, but here's my credit card. But it can't only be educational and, professionalism. It's got to be both so people can see, all of you. That's how you really start monetizing your organic stuff.
Yes, exactly. And then the fact that we're showing a little bit of our private lives as well, personal lives as well, might filter out a few people, right? And some people that I talk to are actually scared of that, of losing followers, so to say. But I say that actually losing followers is something good, because the ones that stay are the ones that really like you and probably will further down the line also trust you. What do you think? Would you agree?
100%. Being like vanilla ice cream, which there's nothing wrong with vanilla ice cream, but it's just kind of there, right? And if you're showing up in your content is just like vanilla ice cream and you're not rocking the boat and you're not saying the things that you really wish that you could say, or sharing the stories that you really wish that you could share because you're afraid some people won't like you, everyone will like you, but only just a little.
Yes, absolutely.
And in order to monetize your content, you need people that like you a lot.
Yeah, so like you a lot. Absolutely. Yes. So we don't have to be scared of having, let's say, not only people that unfollow us, but also we shouldn't be scared of having few followers, right? We should have good followers.
Yeah,
right?
It's so much better to have a following of raving fans that's small than to have millions of followers that don't care about you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I love this, love this. But Brittany, how did you get started on this amazing journey of helping entrepreneurs as their organic content?
Absolutely. So I was a stockbroker for 7 years before I became a business coach and consultant. And that was so much fun. I was partnered with my dad, and I managed over $21 million in assets for people. And, you know, I'm young. I was working with my dad. And so, you know, the way he built his business and the way I was building mine looked very, very different. Like he would go to the mall and rent a table and be at the mall all weekend when I was a kid, and at nights when I was a kid, and just like trying to talk to people in real life. Well, I'm a millennial, so I was growing my business online and creating my own personal brand and showing up and sharing and doing those things. And I started having people coming into my inbox being like, do you teach this? Do you teach personal branding? Do you teach marketing? Do you teach sales? And at the time I was like, no, 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 no. But then right before the pandemic hit, I thought, you know what? Now there's a business here. I'm really good at this. I'm going to quit my job and go in on this. And so I did. And so the first year of the pandemic, I did over 100K. I did $104,000 all online with 3 small kids at home, teaching people marketing and organic content and sales and mindset and the different ways to think about money. And last year we did $250,000. It's been so much fun. It's been a dream come true, just working with these amazing women. I love women. I gravitate towards mothers because like I said, I am a mom. I have 3 kids, but I've also lost 2 babies in the last 3 years. And so I have a real heart for moms that want to have more and be more and do more and say yes to more for themselves and for their families. And so that's how I got here.
God. But going back to your figures, oh my God, like $250,000 last year. This is crazy. How did you do? Of course, I'm not going to ask you for every single detail, but how did you do it? Did you have, I imagine you have one-to-one clients, but then probably you have masterminds as well and courses. So what is your product suite?
Yeah. When I first started, that 104 was just a one-on-one for $5,000 for 6 months. That was my first offer. But I think it's really important that as organic content strategy is to include events. So masterclasses, challenges, workshops. People don't really like webinars anymore, but webinars, series of trainings. That first year I did a coach-a-thon where I did 25 10-minute one-on-one calls with people over one day. So it took me 7.5 hours. Everyone had to register in advance. They got to bring one business problem to me, and in 10 minutes I solved it for them. And it was amazing. And so the biggest thing, if you're going to be organic focused, which there's no point in running ads if your organic stuff doesn't work, because then you're just throwing money at stuff that doesn't work, right? Like ads is a magnifier for what's working. It's not a solution to what's not working. But I think it's super important. And, we do see this across the board. Like 8-figure earners also put on workshops, also put on classes, also run challenges to bring people in. And you do that stuff for free or for super low cost. And so I was doing that all of the time. Same with the $250,000 year. I raised my rates to $10,000 for 6 months. I launched a group program, which has evolved this past year into a membership, a super low cost membership for new entrepreneurs. It's only $100 a month. They get tons of access and tons of support. And so I have that running in the background. I'm back to doing one-on-ones. I loved masterminding, but I just kind of have a heart for one-on-one right now. So I'm back to doing one-on-ones and hosting those really intimate but super value-packed events where people just come and get so much love from you. Like I said, free or low cost. They're so much more likely to turn into paying clients at any level when they can get a ton from you in a short window. Like yesterday was Wednesday. So Tuesday, I announced I was going to do a very quick free content brainstorming session for anyone that wanted to come. And I was going to give the big 3, the health, wealth, and relationships. Those are kind of the categories that people fall into. And I was like, I'm going to give you my thoughts, if you are my clients, on what your content should be about for the rest of the year. So you can come get all of my tips, kind of think of your own based on my tips, use what I've given you, write your content, schedule it out, and then you can unplug for the rest of the year knowing that your business is going to run because your content's running while you're doing what you want to do with your family. And I had almost 50 women register for that. So I promoted it Tuesday, one post. We did it yesterday, and people are asking for the replay this morning in my inbox, asking me if they can get the replay of it. And so it's just like little things like that. You don't have to super plan. Sometimes, it's good to plan and have like a marketing strategy, but sometimes if you just feel super called to help people and being like, I'm just going to help some people who want some free help today, it's an amazing way to connect with your audience organically and have them turn into raving fans.
Oh my God, this is amazing, Brittany. Well done. I knew you were a powerhouse, but I didn't know these details. Wow. And tell me, wow. And tell me,
I love that I saw you like making notes.
I'm making notes. Yeah, because you told us a word. You said a word that I had never heard before, coachathon. So would you like to tell us more about that? You said you coach people for 10 minutes. And how many people in one day you coached?
25 people in one day, which is complete chaos. I don't think I'd recommend it to anyone. I've never told any of my clients to do that. I'm like, pick a couple of slots over a couple of days and see how many people you can do. But I was celebrating my first $25,000 cash month. So I was like, let's celebrate. Let's do 25 people. But yeah, I think coachathons are amazing. Do 10 minutes, do 20 minutes. Offer people to get on a call, like set up a special landing page for it, or even just like I use Calendly. I love Calendly. Set up Calendly, ask a couple of important questions and let people enroll and just meet them, help them, hang up. I don't pitch on those at all. Who has the time in a 10-minute call? I have all their details. I simply give them my advice, back and forth a little bit, and then I'm like, have a great day. And if they want to book a call with me to talk about working together, they can do that separately. I don't do any pitching on those. I just help.
You just help. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's great for them, and at the same time, it's great for you as well, because then you get a pulse of what is happening in the industry, right? And then you have new ideas probably for your content.
Yep, exactly. It's a huge confidence booster because we always feel better when we help other people.
Yes.
And so
Absolutely.
to do that and get that energy from doing that, it boosts your confidence, gets your wheels turning again when you're feeling stuck. And absolutely, it's so much content that you can be like, I'm seeing this, or people are coming to me with that. You don't have to name names, of course, but no circumstances are unique. It's universal. We all kind of experience. And so it gives you fresh eyes, and you can say, I told this person this. People will gobble that up.
Absolutely. Oh my God. But now you're doing so many things. So a question comes very spontaneously, which is, Brittany, do you have a team?
I have one person. She's an independent contractor, and she does my graphics for me. She does my website for me. She manages my calendar for me. She schedules out emails for me. All of the things that I don't enjoy doing, or I don't feel like I'm very good at, like graphic design is not something that I am very good at. And she is amazing at it. So she does that for me, very part-time, like 2 hours, I think, a week I have her for. So super part-time. I do the rest of it myself, and it's just kind of soul-led and doing what I feel like I want to do in the moment.
So basically you made 250K in 1 year on your own, because if you have this person for only 2 hours a week, then it's basically been on your own. Oh my God. With 3 kids.
Fun. With 3 kids.
Yeah. Oh my God. So what's going to happen for you in terms of content and in terms of business growth next year? Because we are just at the beginning of, nearly at the beginning of 2023. So everybody's already in planning mode.
And they should be. But we're seeing like big changes right now in the industry. Like people are talking about a recession. I don't know if you are over where you live, being in Switzerland, but in Canada and the United States, there's a lot of recession talk, which means people are going to be, pulling on their purse strings a little bit tighter and making investments that they feel like they have to have versus things that are just kind of nice to have. And so your organic content, and again, throwing ads at it, if it stops working, is not the solution. Your content needs to speak to a higher level of awareness in your ideal clients so that they understand that your support is something that they need, not something that is just nice for them to have. And if you're speaking to, it's just nice to have this, you don't actually need it, you're going to see a huge dip in your income and your client acquisition. But if you're kind of pivoting a little bit to speak more to the need of having you and the desire of the results that they get from you, you may not see too much of a falter. But the other thing too is, like, we're heavily going towards short form video, TikToks, Reels, YouTube Shorts, Pinterest idea pins. Like, we kind of can't get away from it. And they're taking so much precedence over other content. And so if you're not thinking about adding a video strategy to your business, you're going to miss the boat on that. And I know we've been talking about that for Reels for such a long time, but with TikTok switching from a social media platform to a search engine, that's been a huge game changer for short form video. And like, one thing that, another event that I did with my clients this past spring was we did a Reels edition, 30 days of Reels. And I did all of the research and I gave them trending audios and I told them how to use it. And 30% of the women that came into that container went viral.
30%. Wow. So you told them, probably, you gave them probably the ideal formula to go viral, right? So probably I'm not going to ask you to share it, but it's something that probably you have, and you give it to them and this is how they get results.
Well, the thing about going viral is you're never 100% sure if you're going to go viral. Otherwise, people would just go viral all the time. But like, again, it's being yourself. The girls that went viral were showing their personalities, like the silliness and like their humor and their relatability and the things that make them likable and make you want to hang out with them and call them up and hang out on their couch. But at the same time, they were also showing off their expertise. Like, it was very specific, and that's why they went viral.
Yes, absolutely. And can you go viral by showing your expertise and at the same time showing your personality as well? Maybe, I don't know, maybe sharing your expertise in a silly way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Is it something that you advise to find?
Yes. And if you're going to use, this is always changing, but if you're going to use trending audios, I like to use really small ones. Like if you're on Instagram or you're on TikTok, where you see where the audio is kind of scrolling across the bottom while you're watching, if there's a little arrow pointing up to the right hand corner, that means that it's trending. But if there are more than 10,000 views, even for me, I think 10,000, or sorry, not views, uses, I think 10,000 is a little too many. I like to go like 5,000 or less. I love really small ones, like 1,000 or less. But I think that if there's more than 10,000, even if it's still trending, you're not doing yourself a favor by using it. If you want to use it, use it. But your chances of going viral are less because you're competing with all of the other videos that are also using that audio. So I like 5,000 uses or less. Even a couple hundred is even better.
It's like the hashtags on Instagram, right? I'm not a TikTok, let's say, expert, but I still get the hashtags on Instagram. So it's like a similar principle, right? So it shouldn't be too many, there shouldn't be too much. Okay,
yes,
too few.
Exactly.
Okay. But tell me, Brittany, we've talked about the role of short form content these days, and probably in 2023 as well. These are the trends. But what is the role of long form content? Does it still have a role?
Yes, absolutely. Of course.
Thank God.
Not everybody. Yeah, I know. I'm I'm long-winded. I like a good paragraph or two. But there are people that consume video and there are people that consume written. Those people do not overlap, which is why if you're going to do video, use captions, because that way you can overlap those two people. If you don't have captions, the people that need to read will not watch. But long form, like written content, I think will always have a place. Facebook is still very written content heavy. Instagram, like if you're going to be on Instagram, like Reels are great for brand awareness. They're not super for sales or education because they're so short. Like carousels are better for education on Instagram, and stories are better for selling because it goes to a warm audience already. And so absolutely you should still have that long form written post, short form written post too, like a sentence that's really captivating. It's always good to have too.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about long form on YouTube? So longer videos, let's say videos that are longer than 10 minutes.
Absolutely. I think there's always going to be a market for that stuff. But people People's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So if you're going to have a longer video, it has to be really captivating. And people want to be entertained. That's why they're online. They're looking to laugh. They're looking to feel seen and heard and understood. They're looking to learn something new. They're looking like, that's how we want to be entertained, and that's how we consume content. And so your content has to do those things, right? It has to be relatable. It has to be kind of funny and quirky and like, oh yeah, guess what I saw the other day? But it also has to teach people things. And so you have to fall in those categories if you're going to stay relevant in the market.
I see. And that probably applies to podcasts as well, I imagine, right?
Yeah. I've actually been shortening my podcast episodes. Like I have some that are like 30, 40 minutes, and I'm trying to keep them to like 15 minutes right now because I do deal with moms mostly. Moms are busy. Like if someone asked me to sit there and listen to a 20-minute thing, I'd be like, maybe in like 20 years, I'll be able to do that.
Oh my God. So if you follow that principle, Brittany, we should stop now because we've been talking for 20 minutes.
That's okay. But it's been so entertaining for everyone watching.
Exactly. That's true. Yeah. So we don't have that many moms in our audience. I mean, we do have moms as well, but let's say that what the common denominator in all of these people, 750 people that we have in this group, is actually that they want to get visibility and they want to build that thought leadership and so on. And I always talk about the importance of long form content as well. Of course, like short form content and long form content too. So I think that, you know, our viewers got it and they are happy to listen to us for a long time. Yes, we can go for another 10, 15 minutes if that's fine with you.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Awesome. Yes. So, Brittany, I'm going to ask you a question. First of all, let me see if we have any questions on Facebook. No, we don't have any at the moment. But one question that I usually ask my guests at the end of our interview is the following. And by the way, I'm going to ask it to you now. And we're not at the end, not at all. So what is the thing that I haven't asked you yet, let's say in the last 20 minutes, but I should have asked you?
Oh. That's a good question.
I have so many different kinds of answers, right? And some of them are really silly. Some of them are super deep. So let's see what you come up with. No pressure. Continue as queen of content.
No pressure. Oh my goodness. I feel like we covered so much that's really important. I think that maybe, I don't think you should have asked me anything. I think you did a wonderful job. But if you're going to ask me another question, it would probably be about like email marketing, because of all of the shifts that we're seeing on social media and TikTok becoming a search engine, and you know, how do we captivate those audiences? And you know, you said you're kind of big on Instagram. Like a lot of people lost a lot of followers in a glitch a few months ago. And, you know, there's always, oh, Facebook's dying or this is dying and what are we going to do and blah, blah, blah. And I think that it's important that people do have an email list as well, but I don't think that there should be pressure. Like if you don't want to do an email list and it sounds like this daunting thing for you, then just don't do it. Like don't do it and half-ass it and like not pay attention to your people. But absolutely, like if you're going to be doing these like events, like I was talking about doing these events, use it for lead gen, like actually capture people's emails for these things so that you can stay connected with them. And remembering too that like, yes, we're running our businesses on social media, but our business is not social media. So if we pretend that everything's shut down on us, we still have the knowledge and expertise to go and start again somewhere else.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. Oh, I love this. Yes, it's so true. And but if we were to do email marketing, what do you say we need to keep in mind? Okay, first of all, don't half-ass it, of course. That's number one. And then 2 or 3 things that you think are really, really important if we do email marketing in terms of, I don't know, frequency, in terms of length of the content, in terms of the purpose that our email marketing has for us, for our business.
Yeah, I think that you should always be selling to those people. It's different on social media because when we're showing up, like I had one of my clients in my membership analyze my content for a month once, and I didn't know until she was done. And I had put out 111 pieces of content in 28 days.
Oh my God.
And like that, I know, but you know what? It sounds like a lot. It's really not a lot. It's like 3 pieces a day. That's not that much. if you know how to do content. But that's why I make so much money, because I'm constantly top of mind for people. But when we're emailing, like, we kind of hold back on emailing, even though that's a super warm audience, because we don't want to bother them. And so we only email like once or twice a week. And so that's fine if you only want to email once or twice a week, but sell to them every time. And that doesn't mean that your entire email has to be a giant pitch. But if you're like, PS, here's what it looks like to work with me, go to this link here to do it. Like, that's also good enough. But also combining the different forms of content in your emails. Like, send an email that's a few sentences that's super value packed. Send an email with a link to a video. Send an email that tells a beautiful story, but just make sure you're pitching at the bottom somewhere, or somewhere in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love this, definitely, because we should not forget, as you said a few minutes ago, we should not forget that at the end of the day, we are businesses, right? So we have to make sure that the money comes in. Yeah, definitely. And some people are like, they get caught up in creating content, which is, of course, it's great. And you can add a lot of value to people, and you can, you know, express your creativity as well, which is great. But at the same time, we need to make sure also that we monetize something, because we need to pay our bills at the end of the day. Plus, we want to live also a pleasant lifestyle as well. Like, right. Definitely. Okay. And we've talked about so many channels, Brittany. So my next question is, what is omnipresence for you?
What is what? Sorry?
Omnipresence. Basically, they say, yeah. Is it important? Is it necessary? Is it important to be like on all social media? And then in a minute, I'll tell you my version of omnipresence, because I think in a way, because I'm a publicist, but yeah.
I am everywhere.
Ooh, omnipresent.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm not big on LinkedIn. I have a profile over there, but like, you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Pinterest, you can find me on Google, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me everywhere. You can find me in the Peanut app, which is like an app for moms. You can find me in there. But that's because I know exactly what I'm doing. And it doesn't take me a ton of time to do it. Most people think that they have to be everywhere, and it's immediately overwhelming and daunting and exhausting, and it causes burnout. So I always tell people, when you're starting, pick an app, it doesn't matter, and just go all in on that one place. There are billions of people in this world.
Yeah.
Your ideal client is on all of the apps. So it doesn't mean you have to be on all of the apps, but it does mean that if you're on one, they are too. And then just go all in on it, get really good at it, build up a following, build up a community, get clients. And then when you feel really solid, pick a secondary platform and start cross-posting over there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel all of the time. I mean, for some you do, like, you know, if you're going to go onto TikTok, you can't copy a paragraph over there. You got to make a video. But like, don't make it so that you are trying to come up with something brand new for every place. Recycle, make it easy for yourself. And, you know, that's only if you want to. You don't even have to do all of that. But I like it, especially being like a content marketing person. I feel like it's my responsibility to be everywhere, so I can talk about all of the different places and help my clients the best.
You're so right. You have to be the embodiment of what you teach, right? Exactly. Yeah, totally. So I get why you want to be on so many different platforms. But my question is, so what was the first platform you really got yourself, let's say, super established in, number one? And what is your primary platform today?
I started in Facebook. I started my own Facebook group in October of 2019. And that has... At one point, it had over 5,000 people, but I did a really big cleanup. And so we're at like 4,300 people. And that is where the bulk of my clients came from and come from. Like, the Facebook groups are not dead.
No, not at all. What is the name of your Facebook group, by the way?
My Facebook group is called Get Fully Booked, Go Viral, and Get Rich with Your Content.
Okay, cool. Get Fully Booked. Okay, awesome. Yes, thank you. And is it still your primary platform?
Facebook is definitely still my Facebook is definitely still my primary platform. But when I was offered the creator mode profile, the professional profile, on my personal page, I took it, and a lot of people are complaining about it right now. They don't love it. I love it. I have almost 8,000 followers there now, and I am getting 20-30,000 people engagement, 30-40,000 post reaches. Like, I don't know, maybe because I put out so much content, that's why I'm getting so much reach and visibility. But like, yeah, Facebook is still my favorite place because I do love long form. But for consumerism purposes, I probably love TikTok. Because I want to be entertained too. And like, yes, I use TikTok for business, but my page, like my For You page, is not really business related. It's like cooking and comedians and like witchy women and like silly mom comedians. So it's definitely different. But we gotta have one place where like all business all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. And Brittany, so now I'm putting my publicist hat on, because this is my background, right? And this group is called Personal PR. So we talk about owned channels, the channels that you own, where you have an account, you can log in and you can you can determine and control the content. And this is where you are the queen. And then on this platform, we also talk about basically when you get featured on third-party channels, right? Which is publicity. So what is the role of publicity in your content strategy? Does it play a role? Have you been featured on third-party channels? And do you find it important for maybe your own communities that you have on your own channels? How do the two things, let's say, interact with one another, the two dimensions?
Yeah. So I also have a podcast. So I'm everywhere. But absolutely, like, I love being on podcasts. I try to get at least one podcast where I'm interviewed, at least one a month. I've also been featured in Goss magazine. I was on the October issue of Goss magazine, their manifest issue, with Sahara Rose. I just had a press release done last month, and so I was published on, I think, 468 different news channels. Was it like a little article about me? Ooh. Yeah, I think it's so important that we get really visible. I was invited to do an in-person speaking event, which is going to be a paid gig, which I'm super excited about, for I think right around like Q1, Q2, like right where they kind of mix, like March of 20. And so still ironing out details on what that's going to be like. But absolutely, like, if you're going to show up, you need to be showing up. And if you want to grow a business, especially organically, and see what's working, you got to be seen. Like, I'm constantly in podcast groups when they're like, I'm looking for people to interview. I'm like, interview me. I'm awesome and so much fun to interview. Like, let's talk.
Oh, this is so cool. And tell us about the press release that you issued last month. What was it about? Because you got so much resonance with so many channels. How many did you say? Over 400 channels, right? News channels that covered the news. What was the news about?
It was very short, and it was just a little bit about my journey being stockbroker, business coach, mom, infant loss, going through IVF, and building a multiple six-figure business online throughout all of that. And so it was a little bit, it was short. It was just a little bit about me and my journey, and they loved it.
Absolutely. Wow. And the thing is that this is going to pay off for months and months and months, and maybe even for years, right? Yes. Because these articles that are written, they are not going to, they have a lifespan is much longer than that of a post, right?
Yes.
Just a story, story is 24 hours anyway, but a reel for that matter, or a post on Instagram or whatever, because of course it's going to be up for years and years and years, and it will be able to be found. It will be able to be found with SEO. So that's a great thing, because all of these channel, let's say all of these news platforms and so on, they have great SEO. So they do the work for us, so to say, right? We get covered, and then they do the SEO for us. That this is one of the reasons to really invest in publicity. Yes. When did you realize that publicity was so important? Is it something that you realized yourself and you said, okay, let me put intention into this now? Or because you were already so successful on your own channel, somebody reached out to you and offered you an opportunity for publicity, and then you started understanding how this world works?
The second I definitely started having people, you always get those people, I get multiple a day in Instagram being like, you want to be one of the female entrepreneurs of 2023, and it's all different people, but they're all offering the same thing. And I don't do that one, but I understood early that eyeballs are important, and the best way to get in front of eyeballs is to show up and do things. So I started really small, just kind of like going on people's podcasts and talking for fun. And then it kind of became more intentional, where I was like, no, I want to do at least one a month. And then Goss Magazine reached out to me in August, and they were like, we want to feature you in our magazine. They have a huge following, hundreds of thousands of followers. And I was like, yes, because it's all women entrepreneurs. And I was like, of course I want to be grouped with these people.
Yeah.
And then, kind of understanding like, yeah, the PR piece is also really important if you want to get visible. And it's not as hard as it seems. It's a lot easier, especially when you have someone like yourself who does PR and understands PR. That's kind of like, okay, well, here's how you do it. This is what you should be doing. This is what you should be looking for. This is kind of red flags to be aware of and things like that. I think it's really important. And it's definitely going to be a bigger part of my strategy in 2023.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Absolutely. So cool, Brittany. But I have one last question that is about your financial success connected to something, let's say to a conversation that is going on in the industry, right? So there are lots of coaches that right now are getting meta and talking about, the technique or the strategy that certain coaches are using, of especially business coaches, of constantly communicating about how much money they made that particular year, that particular month, and so on, right? Because it seems that if you, of course, announce your success, share your successes, your financial successes, then people will trust you even more and they will want to invest with you. And then, of course, your financial success will grow and grow and grow. And this is what has been happening for a lot of business coaches, especially over the past few years. But it seems now that things are changing, right? What is your stance when it comes to this matter?
It's funny that you ask about this, because I wrote a post about this on my Facebook page 2 days ago, and we are hundreds of comments deep. And I was talking about using discernment. Yeah, like it really blew up. And, I was kind of like, I might get some hate for this. And I think as soon as you say something like that, like that's a good enough hook to make people read. But I had seen a woman say in a female, entrepreneur group, I made $11,000 or $10,000 in 11 days, and I don't know anything about marketing. I have zero marketing skills. Comment below if you want my strategy to replicate this before January. And I was like, this is a huge red flag. Not that you can't make $10,000 in 11 days, but the fact that you are pretending that this post is not a marketing technique and telling everyone that you don't need or you don't know anything about marketing, and you just happened upon 5 figures in 11 days. Why are you gaslighting yourself? Why are you gaslighting other people? Like, you made that happen. Like, let's not pretend that you just woke up one day and you were like, whoa. And even if you did, that's not a strategy you should be selling to people. Like, let's be in integrity. And so absolutely, there's a lot going on in the industry right now of people sharing financials. But people were paying me before I was making any money, right? Like that was not how I got my money. I started at zero, just like everybody else. It wasn't until the end of my first year that I was like, whoa, I made $104,000. This is great. But people paid me that whole year without me saying. And I think that it's really important that we use discernment. Like, are the people that are sharing their financials, like I love sharing my financials because I'm really fucking proud of myself. Sorry for swearing. I don't know if you let swearing on your show. But I'm really proud of myself. Like, I built this by myself and I continue to build this by myself. And I have insane client retention. I have people that have been with me since I started. We're coming up on 3 years and they just like love it and they're eating it up and they're making the money they want to be making and they're getting the support that they want and need and desire. And they like being around me and being in my world and learning from me because I'm always learning.
Yes.
And so if you're going to share your financials, you have to share more. It can't just be, look at my bank account, look at my bank account, look at my bank account. Okay, but what are you doing to get that? And if the
Yes.
only thing that you're doing is showing off your bank account, that's why business coaches get the worst rap in the industry, is because it's smoke and mirrors, it's snake oil, it's lies, it's fraud, it's red flags all over the place because there's no substance there.
Yes.
And so you have to invest in someone that, yes, can say, look, I can get you results. Look at my clients' results. Like, I'm just as quick to talk about what my clients are doing than what I'm doing, because I think that's a bigger testament. If my clients are doing better than me, amazing. It's a bigger testament to what I can help people with. But it's also, are you walking your talk behind that? Like, are you actually teaching? Are you actually giving value? Are you actually contributing to the world? Or are you just showing fancy numbers? And so I don't think that women should stop bragging how much money they're making, but I think that that cannot be your only marketing angle. There needs to be way more. And as women, we need to stop buying into just seeing big numbers and thinking, I don't have to do anything for this. Because it's a lot of work running a business.
Exactly. Oh my God, Brittany, I love this angle that you've just come up with. This is amazing. And by the way, we have a comment from Martina saying, amazing conversation and a great question regarding the money in the coaching industry. Yeah, talking about money. And by the way, Martina is a coach and she's also my COO, and she has her own business, you know, coaching business. So actually, I shared the link to our Zoom call in the Facebook group. In just our Facebook Live. So Martina, join us. I know that it's very early for you. She's based in Boston. Okay, it's not too early. Come on. What time is it? Like nearly 9 a.m. Okay, Martina.
It's almost 10 for her.
Yeah, it's almost 10 for you, Martina. Just come. Just join us. Yeah, so you get to meet Brittany. Yes, I hope she's still there. Yes, she loves these conversations. Also, she loves creating content, and I'm sure that we can Brittany, we can all learn so much from you, and Martina will be delighted as well to meet you. So let's see if she joins us. Martina, let us know, please. If you can't join us on Zoom, let us know maybe in chat here on Facebook. Yes, and in the meantime, let's continue. Okay, I'll come on a moment. Yeah, she's coming. So you can meet her. COO. Yes, so cool. Awesome. But in the meantime, I have another question for you, of course, Brittany, which is, do you have a professional background? Because this is something that I'm looking into. I want to work with a graphic designer, like with an interior designer, to have like I put some thought into this. It doesn't look like I put thought into it, but who cares? But it is amazing. Look at that. Do you have professional lighting as well? That was done for you?
No, look, it's my patio. It's just my plants. I'm in my kitchen right now. So we're in Renos. So I'm literally at my dining room table. I love telling people that I do most of my work from my dining room table. Oops. Am I still there? You lost me there. Hold on.
Yeah, we can see you. We can hear you.
There. I love telling people I work from my dining room table because I think that, like, people that are starting businesses from home, like, we think, oh my goodness, I have to have this big, beautiful office. And what am I going to do? And like, I often either work right here or I work in a nook in my bedroom. And I'm like, this is my office, which I do have. We did refinance our house and we have plans to build me an office. But finding a contractor right now has been the worst. So we have just been sitting on piles of cash for months trying to find the right contractor. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a double car garage and turn our current garage into a big office for me. So I'm really excited about it. But like, I'm coming into 3 years of business and multiple 6 figures. I think I deserve an office at this point, but I'm usually at my kitchen table.
This is amazing. Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Brittany. And by the way, Martina, oh my God, Martina, are you so excited? Are you excited as I am about Brittany?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Brittany. Hi,
how are
Jessica.
you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me in, because I joined, I think, 20 minutes in your conversation and I was like, it was so good. And then I thought it would be too late to come on to Zoom, but yeah, it was really great conversation. I actually would have 1 or 2 questions, but I don't know if you kind of answered this already in the few minutes before. So I don't know. And if you have time, I don't know. So yeah.
I have time. It's Jessica's show. She's the boss, but I have time. I'm happy to talk.
That's awesome. Let's go, girls, then.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I have a question regarding email. So I have an email list, but I haven't been emailing them since July. I took kind of a break, also because I was like adjusting my niche a little bit. And I just wondered, what would you think if you have kind of not emailed your list for a couple of months? How would you go about it? Would you just send them an email and tell them, you know, what has been going on for the past few months? I just wondered, what is your take on that?
Yeah, you can share with what's been going on, but you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we often think that we have to justify when we disappear and when we show back up. A lot of people are just going to be excited to see you. So it's really up to you and using your own discernment of what you want to share and not share. But if you don't want to share, you can definitely just send an email like no time has passed, and we'll be like, oh my goodness, there she is. I'm so glad she's back. So it's up to you.
Yeah, thank you. I thought so. I just wanted to hear, you know, what would be a good way of doing it. And I think I'll do something in between, right? I mean, not justifying, just like recapping a little bit what's going on, what has been going on. I mean, and then, you know, just pretend as if I never had such a long break, and just stay to be consistent and go like email once a week or something like that.
Yeah. You don't have to overthink it. Like, these are humans and you're a human. And so like, you don't have to make it really complicated about what you're going to say. You can just say whatever you want and it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's great.
You're welcome.
I'll do that.
Wonderful.
So that was question number 1, Martina, right? You said you have 2 at least.
Yeah, just a quick question regarding content, you know, because I'm like posting on Instagram like twice, also 2 or 3 times a day, and it took me quite a while to get that like consistent and being like really posting so often every day, and I really love it. So the question I always ask people who are like into content and all that stuff is like, how did you come up with content yourself? Are you following any pillars? You know, because I've heard everything from everybody. So just my general question, how do you come up with an amount of posts and videos?
I don't. I know that there would be lots of business coaches out there who would tell you to like follow your pillars and then batch your content and schedule it out. That a lot of people, that does not work for me. I'm someone that I don't even like a leftover meal, let alone a leftover thought. So, but I know that I'm like really weird in this. Content is something that comes naturally to me, which is why people hire me for one-on-one support, because I'm constantly thinking about my clients' businesses and being like, oh my goodness, I heard this like TikTok audio. Here's the link. I want you to go and make a TikTok or a reel using it. Here's how I see it for you. So go do exactly what I say. They're like, oh, here's an idea for content, or oh, here's an idea for an event that you should do. You should do it in 2 weeks. Here's some content to sell it. Like, it comes very naturally to me. I do teach people to do, I call it like a wheel and spoke model instead of the pillars, where we brainstorm out. So you would come up with 3 to 5 things that you know how to talk about. So like business or family or branding, you know, and then you start like drawing off, you know, your little spokes and going, okay, what do I know about this thing? Well, if we're going to talk about business, I know about marketing. And off of that, I'm going to go, okay, email marketing, video marketing, written, audio. And you go, okay, podcasts, YouTube. And, you know, you're just kind of like branching all of the time. And that'll always give you so much content. But I think once you kind of get in flow of creating content and understanding what people resonate with, it comes easier and you find yourself turning to those materials less and less, but you can always come back to them and be like, oh yeah, that's good stuff. But something that I taught in the content batching workshop that I taught yesterday was to get inside your ideal clients' minds is to be really situational. I think that super situational content works really well. So if you're going to write something today, I would say, look, it's Thursday morning. Christmas is in a few days. The holidays make everyone's problems 10 times worse because it's so much more stressful. We've got family and food and gifts and people coming and going and parties and what am I going to wear? And what am I going to buy? And when am I going to find the time? Everyone's annoying me, right? And so if you got into your ideal client's head right now today and you were like, okay, it's Thursday morning, what's wrong? What's going wrong for her? But what is she doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so if I was going to write a piece of content right now, I'd be like, Christmas is in a couple of days. The new year is in a few days. You're sitting in front of your computer thinking, oh no, the year is over. What am I going to do? I guess I'll just quit for the rest of the year. I'm just going to quiet quit on my goals. I'm just going to come back in January. No one will notice, which is just going to create stress for you the whole holiday season, because you know that you should be working on your business. You're making yourself feel bad for it. You're stressing out, and now you're not really present the way you planned to be, because there's too much going on top of mind for you that's stressful. And so that's exactly how I'd create a piece of content and be like, but what if you and I were working together and you knew exactly what you were going to say for the rest of the year, and 6 months into the new year to create your goals, you knew what you were going to do, you knew what your plan was, you knew exactly how it was going to happen, and I was going to help you create the content that was going to make it happen. You would feel so much better, you'd feel so much lighter, you'd feel so much more confident, you'd have so much more trust in your business and your goals that you're going to create them. Book a call with me here and let's talk about what that would look like. Mm-hmm. So like super situational.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, if you're writing content today, what is your ideal client doing? What's their problem? Mm-hmm. And like picture them in their house or picture them at their job. Like, what are they doing? Are they binging Netflix and eating a sleeve of Oreos instead of, you know, taking care of their health or having a date with their spouse, or you know, whatever the things that you help them with? When you can speak to that and they go, oh, what? How do you know that? Like, are you stalking me? Have you bugged my house? What's going on here? But then they feel so deeply seen and heard and understood. And I didn't make it complicated to hire me. Like, if you hire me, I'm going to make it really easy for you. And they can see themselves in that too. So they have to be able to see themselves in these things. So yes, absolutely. I love the content pillars, but I also love doing what's going on right now and then what's going to happen after they hire you. And how can I speak to those thoughts and feelings and how they're showing up in their lives to paint that picture and to share that vision with them.
May I add something? Not add, but ask something around this, which is, Brittany, what do you think of speaking to, you know, your followers' pain points as opposed to speaking to their ambitions? Do we need to prioritize one of these two dimensions or not? Or do you think we should sometimes talk about pain points, sometimes talk about ambition, sometimes put them together? Is there a ratio? What would you recommend?
I actually don't even love talking about pain points. I like talking about what's real.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, you're so depressed, you can't get out of bed, and like just like making problems worse. But we can't pretend that the person doesn't have the thoughts and feelings that they have about the thing that you help them with. Like, you got to remember, when we have problems, us as human beings, as soon as we wake up in the morning, we're thinking about it. What am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? What's going to happen today? It consumes our entire day. And then when we lay our head on our pillow at the end of the day to go to sleep, we stay awake thinking about it too, trying to solve this problem and what's wrong. Why can't I fix this? And so I don't think there's a problem in saying this is real for you. And it's okay that this is real for you, but it doesn't have to be real for you. So I think that when we kind of acknowledge where they are and then show that ambitious side of, well, this is what you really want, and here's how easy it is to get over there, that's when you're really making that connection for people. Because people shy away up from change because they're afraid that it's going to be hard. And so if you're like, if I made this simpler for you, if I showed you what to do, I gave you the tips and the tools and the resources, and I held your hand and guided you and mentored you, wouldn't that be so much better?
Yeah.
Then they connect with them. They're like, yeah, it would be.
Oh my God, yes. This is so cool. Thank you so much for this answer. I love the bridge. So acknowledging that the thing is real for them, but then of course creating a bridge, of course, to their ambitions and to how life easy can be, and how easy, let's say, the change can be. And in order to get to the situation, of course, that they wish for. I love this. And this is a conversation that Martina and I have pretty often, right, Martina? about pain points, ambitions, and so on, right? Exactly. This is something that is a recurring topic between the two of us, because Martina is my lovely COO, and at the same time, she has her own coaching business as well. Yes. Martina, do you have any more questions? Because I see that we are approaching the hour with Brittany. So maybe, what do you think, girls, if we wrap up in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, totally. No, I just want to say thank you, Brittany. You're talking about the situational context was really like, I already had so many ideas coming, what I'm going to talk to my people about the next few days.
Good.
So thank you. That was really, really brilliant, because I'm not much a fan of content pillars and, pad batching anything. That always tripped me up. So, but that's a good point with the, what's alive for the people right now. So thank you. That was good.
You're welcome.
Martina, that was amazing, right? But let's talk about how generous Brittany has been. She's shared so much value, so much gold for a whole hour.
Totally.
Right, especially like the higher you go, it appears that the higher you go in your financial success with coaches, the less they want to share, it seems.
Oh, I don't like that. I feel like I would say that you can't give too much. People are very afraid, especially as women, like, oh my goodness, if I say this, people won't hire me. I think that if I say as much as humanly possible, people go, holy crap, she really knows her shit. I'm going to pay her.
Because you shared so much over the past hour, but I'm sure this is we just scratched the surface. This is just the top of the iceberg, right? There's so much to learn.
We could talk all day.
This is so cool. Oh my God, Brittany. So you will have to come back to the personal PR show. What do you think?
I'd love to. I would absolutely love that so much.
Awesome. Yes. Then we'll be in touch, maybe January or February if you have time.
Yeah, sounds great.
If you're not too busy being interviewed in magazines and news channels.
I will make time, because this was so fun.
Thank you. We'll make sure that Martina joins us again next time. What do you think, Martina?
Time on time, absolutely. I want to be right from the beginning and have my questions in advance.
Okay, cool. Then I will ask our relationship manager. Awesome. Brittany, thank you so much. This has been amazing. We can't wait for the next time that you will join us here on the Personal PR Show. And we will be sure to also share all of your channels, like all of your links. There are many, of course, because we know that you are omnipresent. But we'll be sure to share all of them. They will be here in the comment section of this post.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas in Canada.
Merry Christmas. Yes, safe travels to you.
Thank you to you too. Bye, girls. Thank you so much, and bye everybody. And see you next week for another episode of the Personal PR Show. In the meantime, Merry Christmas. Take care. Bye, Brittany. Bye, guys.
Bye.